Hello, it's Science Mr. Robertson here for another video. This time I'm going to do a quick roundup of evolution for the Year 6 students. And evolution, firstly, it's a cool word. We've got to start our biology topic with it. Evolution is this idea of life changing through time. It's a controversial topic and one we'll do more in the classroom about why it's so controversial. But scientifically, there's lots of evidence we have to see that life through Earth's history has changed. And we'll discuss that over the whole length of the Earth, which is about 4.5 billion years. The huge variety of life we've had is wonderful. And it's still changing. In evolution, there are two key people that we need to talk about straight away. The first one of them is Charles Darwin. Again, we'll do one in class on him. But Charles Darwin is famous for his idea of natural selection. That there was a process in which only some animals successfully survived. Those animals that did survive, they passed on what was good about them to their children. So only those good things were kept intact. So the species, the living thing, changed all the time. It was basically what we say, survival of the fittest. Only the strongest were able to live. Only the strongest passed on their DNA, their genetics, their code inside of them. Only they were able to reproduce, to make children. That was Charles Darwin's theory. And in the class, we'll look at some examples of actually how that happened. Sweden has its own expert in Carl von Linné. Of course, you will recognize Linné from the... not the best house in IAS Schlichter. And Linnaeus, he was responsible for understanding which species linked together, which living things matched. He got some of them wrong, but he got many of them very right, to see which patterns there were in different plants and animals and to put them in different groups. It's Linnaeus who thought of the naming system. So, for example, if I say Homo sapiens, that means modern man. That was Linnaeus' naming policy. The last two little bits of the species name told you what it was. Homo sapiens. That was their ideas. Two very, very important scientists. And how do we know there was evolution? How do we know there was evolution? Well, there's two things that we do know are true. One is that early Earth was very, very different. The Earth that we had at the start, but hey, it was full of molten rock. The sun was much less strong, still there, but less strong. The moon crashed into the Earth. A whole bit of the Earth pumped out a rock, an asteroid. It was before the moon. Crashed in. All the time, loads of asteroids crashing. Big one came in, made the moon. And we started to have liquid water quite soon. As soon as it got cold enough for water started. There was lots of lightning. There was lots of volcanoes. It was a thick, dark, probably red, hazy, thick soup of an atmosphere. There was very little oxygen. There was no plants to make it. There was no plants to make oxygen. Oxygen levels were very, very low in the early Earth. Life, when it did start, was very different. Mr. Robertson, how did life begin? We're never quite certain. We have in experiments been able to create lots of the molecules from life. Quickly here, we think that all the volcanoes, the liquid water, the thick, dense atmosphere, lightning, gets them all together, and it can make some of the atoms do something a little bit unnatural, but we find those same unnatural proteins in our actual DNA. Kind of. But if we can make it like that, then that's probably how it started. So that's our early Earth. And of course the Earth changed all the time. When plants came, the oxygen level has been increasing pretty much ever since. How do we know that Earth has changed and life has changed? The main way we know that is through fossils. Fossils are, of course, the dead parts of living things. If I die, you put me in the forest, most of me decomposes. The britas ner is going to be broken apart by bacteria, could be eaten. Most of me is taken away. Maybe my bones, though, are left. And maybe there's things that do not decompose. Most often that's bones, like when you see a skeleton. But if you die in a swamp, for example, where there's no oxygen, it is possible that you could find skin, you could find the organs. That does happen. Very rare, but is possible. With fossils, what we can do is quite magnificent. We can actually see when they were through the rocks. If I have underground here, here's underground. And there's different rocks in the ground at different times. Let's say I find a skeleton here, and a skeleton here. I can see which skeleton is oldest. Because the rocks go down, and the new rocks go on top. And new ones on top, all the time. Yes, rocks can have earthquakes and move and bend and twist, but if I can find the pattern, I can find which things are first. In this case, here is my oldest, and here is my youngest. What that means is I am able to look through history the more I dig, and I can see how life has changed. Even for humans in the very short time, we're talking not even 1 million years. And life has been here for billions of years on Earth. Even in those, a few 100,000 years, we've seen how humans have got taller. We've seen how our statures have changed, our brain size has got bigger. We have seen evolution happen by looking at the fossils. Exactly how it works, we'll never know. Because a species is so many different living things, it's never perfect. It's never exact. But over time, the strongest things are more successful. They get more food. They get the best place to live. They make more children. That means those good ideas, those good things about that living thing, are more likely, men, the mer vanligt, for that to go to the next, and the next, and the next. And that is evolution.